Hi folks, once again welcome to the continuation of last week's video that we saw. This is S. Sudarshan, your career coach representing Right Careers. This is not a brand new topic this week. This is in continuation with what we saw last week. So last week we saw commerce as a career option. Now in commerce, what we saw what commerce was all about. We also demystified a myth with regards to commerce, with regards to brighter students choosing science and not so bright students choosing commerce. That's the myth that we demystified. And we also saw what are the mainstream academic programs that are there in commerce, like the BCom, BA, Bachelor's in Economics, BFT, BBA, etc. And then we also saw some of the leading institutes in different cities as to where to study commerce in undergraduation level. So that's what we saw last week. Now in continuation to last week, we will now see what are the professional programs that are available when you choose commerce as a career. And then we will also see the pros and cons as usual of choosing commerce as a career. So the first professional career that we all can think of is definitely chartered accountant, or we call it as CA. Now what is CA? As the name itself suggests, it's an accountant profile where it deals with all the financial transactions of a company, be it small or big. Any transaction that a company makes will usually come under the lens or the purview of a chartered accountant. Now chartered accountant is one of the widely respected careers across the country. We all look up like this when you see a chartered accountant, and that's the kind of respect that the profession demands. Therefore we will comprehensively see in some other time about chartered accountancy, but for now we will just restrict to the professional opportunities that is available for a commerce student. So chartered accountancy is one. And then obviously the second career option that we can think of is CWA, or we call it as cost and works accountant. So cost and works accountant, so what do? They slightly differ from chartered accountant. Cost and work accountants are responsible for managing the policy related financials of a company, which means they usually work on the budgeting with regards to a company. They also keep a close eye on the financial health of a company. We call it as financial balance sheet, how the company is doing, what kind of reserves that they have in terms of cash, in terms of assets. So cost and work accountants work very closely on keeping an eye on the balance sheet of a company or the financial health of a company. They are also responsible for carrying risk assessment. Now every company will have their own risk. So for example, when a company wants to diversify or grow or expand, there is some kind of risk involved because they invest some money, right? So it is the cost accountants who actually assess those risks and give a clear picture to the management. So that's the importance of being a cost and works accountant. That's the second career option, professional career option. The third professional career option that we can think of is company secretary, or we call it as ACS. Now what is ACS? Now before we see what ACS is or company secretary is all about, ACS, or the company secretaryship, as per the Company Secretary Act 1915, it is mandatory for every company with a paid up capital of 50 lakhs. Now what is paid up capital? Paid up capital is nothing but the funds that is raised by a company from share market or stock market. So whatever the company raises out of people from share market is paid up capital. So most of the companies today have IPO, right? They are listed in stock exchange, be it at Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange. They would have listed to raise the money. So if they raise 50 lakhs, which is very, very nominal these days, they have to have a company secretary. So that's the importance of being a company secretary. You need to have an internal company secretary. Now usually it's the company secretary who acts as the secretary to the board. There will be a board. Definitely heard that board meeting or annual general body meeting. There will be a meeting among the top people in the management or the shareholders. It's the company secretary who will be the secretary to the entire board, taking the minutes and then percolating it to the management about the meetings, etc. And it's a specialized position. It has also got something to do with law. So the combination of law and company secretaryship is a huge, has a huge career prospect, I would say. That's the third career option that I can think of. The fourth career option, professional career option, is definitely with regards to business and finance. Now, what is business and finance? It's usually to do with monetary policy, with regards to increasing the profits of a company, more about global finance, budget analysis, etc., etc. So that's with regards to business. And then you can always get into the management. What is management? It's nothing but your master's in business administration. If you pursue MBA or PGDM, you can get into the management side of the business. It could be in sales and marketing, operations, finance, HR, whatever it is. So, you can get into management as well. The sixth professional opportunity that I can think of is the capital markets. Capital markets are nothing but the stock market, where you can make a career in stock market and share market also. That's a promising career always. You can also get into services. That's the seventh option that I can think of. Services is nothing but civil services. Obviously, anyone can get into civil services, but there are some specialized, positions under civil service where a commerce graduate or a commerce student can easily fit in. For example, we call it as IES, Indian Economic Services, or we also have Indian Statistical Services. So these are services where a commerce graduate can naturally fit in. So you can always choose services as a career option also, become a IES or Indian Statistical Services. And then you can always get into law, you can get into defense, you can get into design, you can get into various things when you choose commerce as a career. So these are some of the professional opportunities that we can think of, and sky is the limit, trust me. Now, as always, the pros and cons of choosing commerce. The pros, definitely it's one of the most sought after stream, despite all the flank that it receives with regards to careers, etc. It still has a great demand when you compare with any other streams. I would say wider variety of career opportunities. That's important because you don't restrict yourself to one career. As we all know that commerce is the backbone or lifeline of any business. So every business will have commerce and accounts professional. It could be banks, it could be IT firms, it could be manufacturing. You can choose your industry. Always in huge demand by banks and other industries also. There is actually no retirement, I would say. Once you are retired after 60, which is the official retirement age in India, you can always practice privately. If you are a chartered accountant, you can practice privately. If you are a life insurance advisor, you can practice privately. So technically there is no retirement, I would say. And you're also informed about the complexities of this world very, very early. Because, for example, if there is a recession that's coming in the world, it's the economics profession or if the commerce professions who actually visualize that well in advance than any other profession. So you actually can visualize that something is going to happen, some bubble is going to happen, and then act accordingly. So these are some of the pros that I can think of. As always, the cons, even though it has a wider scope, trust me, it's not everybody's pipe. Now, anyone who aspires to become an accountant need not become a great successful accountant because of various reasons. It's not everybody's pie. None of the career is everybody's pie, and commerce is no exception. Also, one has to be constantly aware about various economic activities surrounding them. They have to be updated about all the latest in the world economy and also Indian economy. That's something which you have to constantly do. I'd like to clear one more myth in this, that you don't need to be good at maths to get into accounts. It's rubbish, I would say, because you need to be strong in arithmetics, which we saw last week. Anyone who has to excel in accounts has to be good in numbers because it's all related, accountancy or numeracy. So the bottom line is keep yourself fit as far as the arithmetic syllabus is concerned, because it's very important. Someone cannot grow up the corporate ladder or become a CEO if they don't understand numbers. So that's a very, very fundamentals, I would say. So don't think I'm weak in maths, therefore I can choose commerce. That's something which we would like to clear at this point in time. Finally, the conclusion, if you ask me, commerce is not at all a subject. I'm ready for a debate here. It's not a subject. It's a lifeline. It's a daily rundown. You have to prepare budget for everything, be it in your office or be it in your house. You have to budget yourself for everything, right? So don't treat commerce as a subject, treat it as a lifeline, and then life becomes practical and disciplined for all of us, because budgeting starts at home, not only in office, right? With this, I would like to conclude the session on commerce, and I hope you all enjoyed watching commerce as a career for the last 2 weeks. And in case of any feedback, do write in to the YouTube channel, inside the channel. And until next week with a brand new video on an altogether different topic. And in case you have subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you so much. And in case you haven't, do log in to the YouTube and hit the subscription button. And I hope that the bell button functions this time, So do click on the bell button so that you get all the notifications instantly. See you, take care, have a nice week. Thank you.